The annual school talent show provided Archie with an unexpected opportunity to showcase not just his developing performance skills, but also his newfound confidence in his appearance. He had chosen to recite a poem about family traditions, and, as he stood on the small stage with the spotlight highlighting his beautiful curls, the audience could see a child who was completely comfortable in his own skin. Meghan and Harry sat in the audience, watching with pride as their son delivered his presentation with poise and enthusiasm. His curls caught the stage lights perfectly, creating an almost ethereal glow around his face. Several audience members later commented that he looked like a young version of his mother, with the same expressive eyes and animated gestures that had made Meghan so memorable in her own childhood performances. The resemblance between mother and son had become more pronounced as Archie's features matured and his curls became more defined. Photographs from this period showed striking similarities in their facial structure, the way they smiled, and, of course, the beautiful texture of their hair. These visual connections to his mother seemed to give Archie an additional sense of belonging and identity. Following the talent show, Archie expressed interest in learning more about his family's history beyond just the haircare stories. Meghan began sharing deeper family narratives about resilience, determination, and the importance of staying true to oneself despite external pressures. She explained how her own childhood experiences with identity and appearance had shaped her into the person she became. These family history lessons often took place during their evening routine, when Archie was most receptive to quiet conversation. As Meghan carefully applied products to his curls and helped him prepare for bed, she would weave stories about his great-grandmother, his grandmother Doria's journey as a single mother, and her own path to self-acceptance and success. The stories served multiple purposes. They entertained Archie while his hair was being cared for, they educated him about his heritage, and they reinforced positive messages about overcoming challenges and embracing one's authentic self. The curly hair routine had become a vehicle for much deeper lessons about life, identity, and family values. During this period, Archie began showing interest in helping other children who struggled with their appearance or felt different from their peers. At school, he would often sit with new students during lunch, helping them feel welcome and accepted. His teachers noticed that he had developed a special sensitivity to children who seemed unsure of themselves, perhaps drawing from his own journey of learning to love his unique characteristics. One particularly meaningful incident occurred when a new student joined Archie's class. The girl, Emma, had recently moved from another country and felt self-conscious about her accent and appearance. Archie immediately befriended her, sharing stories about his own journey of learning to appreciate what made him different. His kindness and understanding helped Emma settle into her new school much more easily than might otherwise have been possible. Meghan learned about this friendship through conversations with Emma's mother, who expressed deep gratitude for Archie's welcoming nature. She mentioned that her daughter had come home excited about her new friend who had beautiful curly hair like mine and who had made her feel proud of her own unique qualities. These interactions confirmed that the lessons about acceptance and self-love were taking root in meaningful ways. The photographic documentation of Archie's growth during this time period revealed not just physical changes but emotional maturation as well. Pictures from his 6th birthday party showed a confident, radiant child surrounded by friends from diverse backgrounds. His curls were styled with care but allowed to maintain their natural movement and bounce, reflecting his family's philosophy of embracing natural beauty. Comparison photographs from earlier periods showed the remarkable transformation that had occurred. What had begun as a child uncertain about his changing appearance had evolved into a young person who understood and celebrated his unique characteristics. The progression was visible not just in his hairstyle but in his posture, his facial expressions, and the way he interacted with others. Professional portrait sessions captured the striking family resemblances that had become even more pronounced as Archie matured. Side-by-side images of Meghan as a child and Archie at the same age showed remarkable similarities in their facial features, the texture of their hair, and even their expressions. These photographs became treasured family keepsakes, documenting the genetic and emotional connections between generations. The hair care routine continued to evolve as Archie grew older and his preferences became more defined. He began experimenting with different styling techniques, learning to create various looks while always maintaining the health and integrity of his curls. This experimentation was encouraged by his parents, who wanted him to develop his own sense of style and personal expression. Meghan often reflected on how different Archie's experience was from her own childhood. While she had sometimes felt isolated in her struggles with curly hair, Archie was surrounded by support, education, and positive reinforcement from the very beginning. This difference represented progress not just within their family but within society's broader understanding of natural hair and diverse beauty standards. The success of Archie's journey inspired Meghan to become more vocal about natural hair acceptance in her public appearances and charitable work. She began incorporating messages about self-acceptance and celebrating diversity into her speeches and interviews, drawing from her personal experiences as both a child who had struggled with these issues and a mother who was determined to provide better support for the next generation. Educational initiatives emerged from the family's experiences. Meghan worked with schools and community organizations to develop programs that celebrated physical diversity and taught children about different hair types and care techniques. These programs aim to prevent the confusion and self-doubt that many children experience when their appearance differs from mainstream beauty standards. Archie's confidence continued to grow as he entered his 7th year. He had become something of a leader among his peers, not through dominance or loud behavior, but through quiet confidence and genuine kindness. His comfort with his own appearance seemed to give him the freedom to focus on developing his character and pursuing his interests without the distraction of appearance-related insecurities. The family's approach to hair care had become a model for other families dealing with similar situations. Meghan frequently received requests for advice from parents around the world who were navigating their own children's relationships with textured hair. These conversations often led to lasting friendships and support networks that benefited entire communities. Looking back over the journey from those first uncertain mornings to the confident young boy he had become, it was clear that Archie's experience with his developing curls had been about much more than hair care. It had been a lesson in self-acceptance, family connection, and the importance of celebrating what makes each person unique. The photographs, videos, and memories from this period would serve as lasting reminders of a crucial developmental phase in Archie's life. They documented not just physical growth but the formation of character, the development of empathy, and the establishment of a strong sense of self that would serve him throughout his life. The resemblance to his mother that had sparked this entire journey continued to be a source of pride and connection for the family. But, more importantly, Archie had learned that while physical similarities could provide a sense of belonging and identity, true confidence came from understanding and accepting oneself fully, curls and all. As the family looked toward the future, they could see that the foundations laid during this period of Archie's life would support him through whatever challenges and opportunities lay ahead. His curls had become more than just a physical feature, they had become a symbol of his family's love, his personal growth, and his connection to a legacy of strength and resilience that would guide him throughout his life. The local children's barber shop had always been a place of uncertainty for Archie. Unlike other children who could simply ask for a trim, his increasingly curly hair required special attention and understanding. Meghan had spent considerable time researching stylists who specialized in textured hair, wanting to ensure that her son's first professional haircut would be a positive experience. When they finally found Maria, a stylist who had years of experience working with curly-haired children, Archie felt nervous but excited. Maria immediately understood the unique needs of his hair type and spoke directly to him about what made his curls special, explaining how they needed different care than straight hair. "Your curls are like little springs," Maria explained to Archie as she gently examined his hair. "They need to be cut in a special way so they can bounce and move naturally." She showed him pictures of other children with similar hair types who looked confident and happy with their natural texture. The haircut session became an educational experience for the entire family. Maria demonstrated proper cutting techniques for curly hair, explaining how each curl needed individual attention to maintain its natural shape. She taught Meghan and Harry about different styling options that would allow Archie's personality to shine through while keeping his curls healthy and manageable. During this time, Archie began attending a new school where diversity was celebrated and children from many different backgrounds came together. His curly hair, which had once made him feel different, now became a point of pride as he saw other children with various hair textures and learned that beauty came in many forms. His teacher, Mrs. Rodriguez, had naturally curly hair herself and often shared stories with the class about different hair types from around the world. She created lessons about genetic diversity and helped the children understand that physical differences were something to be celebrated rather than hidden. Archie found himself becoming more confident as he learned about the science behind his curls and why they formed the way they did. One particularly memorable day at school involved a cultural heritage presentation where each child was asked to share something special about their family background. Archie chose to talk about his curly hair and how it connected him to his mother and grandmother. He brought in pictures of Meghan as a child and explained to his classmates how genetic traits are passed down through families. The presentation was a huge success, with other children asking questions about hair care and sharing their own family traits. Archie's confidence grew as he realized that his curls were not just acceptable but actually fascinating to his peers. He began to see himself as someone with unique and interesting characteristics rather than someone who was different in a challenging way. At home, the evening hair care routine had evolved into a cherished family tradition. Harry had learned to help with detangling and product application, making it a team effort that brought the family closer together. They would often play music during these sessions, turning hair care into a fun, relaxing activity that everyone looked forward to. Meghan continued to share stories from her own childhood, but now she also began talking about her teenage years and young adulthood. She explained how she had experimented with different styles, sometimes straightening her hair and sometimes wearing it natural, until she finally learned to fully embrace her curls in her 20s. "I want you to know that you have choices," she told Archie one evening as she worked a leave-in conditioner through his curls. "You can wear your hair many different ways as you grow up, but the most important thing is that you love yourself exactly as you are." These conversations helped Archie understand that hair was just one part of his identity, but it was a part that connected him to his family history in a meaningful way. He began to appreciate the stories that his curls told about his heritage and the strong women in his family who had paved the way for him to feel confident in his natural appearance. During a family vacation to California, Archie had the opportunity to spend extended time with his grandmother Doria. She took great pleasure in teaching him advanced techniques for caring for his curls, showing him how to sleep with a silk pillowcase to prevent frizz and demonstrating the proper way to apply styling products for maximum curl definition. Doria also shared photographs and stories from Meghan's childhood that Archie had never heard before. She described the various stages of Meghan's relationship with her hair, from the early years when she sometimes felt frustrated, to her eventual embrace of her natural texture as a source of strength and beauty. The grandmother-grandson bonding over hair care created lasting memories and strengthened their relationship. Archie began to understand that he was part of a legacy of strong, confident people who had learned to love themselves fully. His curls became a symbol of this family's strength and resilience. Back at school, Archie's growing confidence was evident to his teachers and classmates. He participated more actively in discussions, volunteered for presentations, and seemed comfortable being the center of attention when appropriate. His hair, which had once been a source of self-consciousness, was now a part of his identity that he wore with pride. The transformation was particularly noticeable during school photo day. Instead of trying to flatten or hide his curls, Archie worked with his parents to style them in a way that looked neat but still honored their natural texture. The resulting photographs captured a confident, happy child who was comfortable in his own skin. Other parents at the school began to notice Archie's confidence and asked Meghan for advice about helping their own children embrace their natural hair textures. These conversations led to informal support groups where parents shared tips, product recommendations, and encouragement for raising confident children with textured hair. Meghan found great satisfaction in being able to help other families navigate similar journeys. She realized that her own childhood experiences, combined with her current role as a mother, had given her valuable insights that could benefit other parents and children. Sharing this knowledge became another way to turn personal challenges into opportunities for community building and mutual support. As Archie's 6th birthday approached, his curls had become more defined and consistent in their pattern. He had learned to take ownership of his hair care routine, understanding which products worked best for his specific curl type and how to maintain his hair between washes. This independence was a source of pride for both him and his parents. The journey from uncertain mornings in front of the bathroom mirror to confident self-care had been gradual but profound. Archie had not only learned to manage his curls but had developed a deep appreciation for what made him unique. His hair had become a bridge connecting him to his family history while also helping him build his own sense of identity. Friends and extended family members often commented on the positive changes they had observed in Archie over the months since his curls had become prominent. He seemed more self-assured, more willing to try new things, and more comfortable expressing his opinions and preferences. The acceptance of his natural hair had apparently contributed to a broader sense of self-acceptance that influenced many areas of his life. The professional photographs taken during this period captured not just a physical transformation but an emotional one as well. Archie's eyes sparkled with confidence, his smile was genuine and unreserved, and his posture reflected the bearing of a child who was comfortable with himself. His curls framed his face beautifully, enhancing rather than hiding his natural features. Educational opportunities continued to arise from Archie's hair journey. He became interested in learning about different cultures and their hair traditions, asking questions about braiding techniques from Africa, hair oils from India, and styling methods from various parts of the world. This curiosity expanded his worldview and helped him appreciate diversity in new ways. The Sussex family's approach to celebrating Archie's curls had created ripple effects throughout their community. Other families began to embrace natural hair textures more readily, stylists received more training in textured hair care, and schools implemented more inclusive discussions about physical diversity. Archie's personal journey had contributed to broader positive changes in his environment. The morning sun streamed through the windows of the Sussex family home as 5-year-old Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor stood in front of the bathroom mirror, running his small fingers through his increasingly unruly hair. What had once been straight and manageable was now developing into soft, bouncing curls that seemed to have a mind of their own. Meghan watched from the doorway, a gentle smile playing on her lips as she observed her son's morning routine. The sight transported her back decades to her own childhood in Los Angeles, where she had faced similar battles with her naturally curly hair. She remembered standing in front of her own mirror at the same age, trying to tame the spirals that her mother, Doria, had always told her were beautiful just as they were. "Mama, why does my hair do this?" Archie asked, tugging gently at a particularly stubborn curl that bounced right back into place. His voice carried the innocent frustration that only a child could express when faced with something beyond their control. Meghan stepped forward and knelt beside her son, her hand reaching out to gently touch the soft curls that were becoming more pronounced with each passing week. The texture reminded her so much of her own hair at that age, before she had learned to either embrace or fight against its natural tendency to curl and wave. "Your hair is growing into something very special," she told him, her voice warm with understanding. "It's becoming curly, just like mine was when I was your age." Archie turned to look at his mother, his eyes wide with curiosity. He had seen pictures of Meghan as a child, but somehow the connection between her childhood curls and his own developing ones had never quite clicked until this moment. The realization seemed to both comfort and intrigue him. Prince Harry emerged from their bedroom, ready for the day ahead, and paused when he saw the intimate scene unfolding in the bathroom. His own hair had always been relatively straight, taking after his father and grandfather in that regard, so watching his son develop Meghan's curly texture was both fascinating and touching to witness. "Those curls are definitely from your mother's side," Harry said with a grin, joining them in the small space. "I remember the first time I saw pictures of her as a little girl. She had the most amazing curly hair." Over the following weeks, as Archie's curls continued to develop, Meghan found herself sharing more stories about her own childhood hair journey. She told him about the mornings when her mother would carefully detangle her curls with a wide-tooth comb, applying special products to help them form properly. She spoke about the days when she had wanted straight hair like some of her classmates, and other days when she felt proud of her unique texture. The transformation in Archie's appearance was gradual but unmistakable. What had begun as subtle waves was developing into defined spirals that caught the light beautifully. Family friends began to comment on how much he was starting to resemble his mother, not just in his facial features but in the way his hair moved and bounced when he ran or played. During a video call with Doria, Archie's grandmother immediately noticed the change in her grandson's appearance. "Oh my goodness," she exclaimed, her face lighting up on the screen. "He looks just like Meghan did at that age. Those curls are absolutely beautiful." Doria went on to share her own memories of caring for Meghan's curly hair, describing the patience and gentle techniques she had learned to help her daughter embrace her natural texture. She talked about the products they had discovered together, the styling methods that worked best, and, most importantly, the confidence that came with learning to love what made her unique. As the weeks progressed, Meghan began to establish a special hair care routine with Archie. She taught him about the importance of gentle handling, showing him how to scrunch his curls rather than brush them when they were dry. She introduced him to leave-in conditioners and curl-enhancing products designed specifically for children's delicate hair. These morning and evening hair care sessions became precious bonding time for mother and son. Meghan would share stories from her own childhood while she worked her fingers through Archie's curls, applying products and helping him understand how to care for his unique hair type. She wanted to ensure that he would never feel the confusion or frustration about his natural texture that she had sometimes experienced as a child. The family's close friends began to notice the striking resemblance between mother and son. During playdates and social gatherings, other parents would comment on how Archie's developing curls made his resemblance to Meghan even more pronounced. The child seemed to enjoy the attention and the special connection he shared with his mother through their similar hair. Harry found himself learning alongside his son about curly hair care. He researched products, techniques, and methods to help support both Meghan and Archie in maintaining healthy, beautiful curls. He wanted to be an active participant in this aspect of his family's life, even though his own hair care routine was much simpler. Archie's growing confidence with his curls was evident in the way he carried himself. He began to take pride in his unique appearance, understanding that his hair was special because it connected him to his mother and his maternal grandmother. The curls became a source of identity and belonging rather than a source of frustration. One evening, as Meghan was helping Archie with his bedtime routine, he looked up at her with serious eyes and said, "I like my curly hair, Mama. It makes me look like you." The simple statement filled Meghan's heart with joy, knowing that her son was already developing a positive relationship with his natural appearance. The journey of Archie's developing curls was about more than just a change in hairstyle. It represented a connection to his heritage, his family history, and the strong women in his life who had learned to embrace their natural beauty. Each curl that formed was a reminder of the genetic gifts passed down through generations, carrying with it stories of resilience, self-acceptance, and love. As Archie's 5th birthday approached, his curls had become a defining feature of his appearance. Friends and family members often remarked on how handsome he looked with his natural texture, reinforcing the positive messages that Meghan and Harry consistently shared with their son about embracing his unique qualities. The photographic evidence of Archie's transformation was striking. Pictures from just months earlier showed a little boy with relatively straight hair, while recent photos revealed a child with beautiful, defined curls that framed his face perfectly. The progression was a testament to the natural changes that occur as children grow and develop their individual characteristics. Meghan often reflected on her own childhood during this period, remembering both the challenges and triumphs she had experienced with her curly hair. She was determined to ensure that Archie's experience would be overwhelmingly positive, filled with education, proper care, and, most importantly, unconditional acceptance and love for his natural appearance. The development of Archie's curls became a celebration within the Sussex household. Rather than viewing it as something that needed to be managed or controlled, the family embraced it as a beautiful evolution that connected past, present, and future generations. Each morning brought new discoveries about how Archie's hair responded to different techniques and products, turning hair care into an adventure rather than a chore. Friends who visited the family often commented on the special relationship between Meghan and Archie when it came to their shared hair experiences. They could see the love and patience that Meghan invested in teaching her son about self-care and self-acceptance, lessons that would serve him well throughout his life. As this chapter of Archie's young life continued to unfold, one thing became increasingly clear: his growing curls were not just changing his appearance, but strengthening the bonds within his family and helping him develop a strong sense of identity and self-worth that would carry him forward into the future.